At exactly 3:33 a.m., it appears at the window, watching. Late night shadows crawling on the wall. Street lights flicker, hear the darkness call. Heavy rain pouring from the sky above, but the silence feels wrong. Something's up. I look outside through the broken blind, a pale white face staring right inside. No expression, no blink, no sound, just standing there on the frozen ground. I lock the door, check every room, the air gets colder inside the gloom. Phone won't work, all the signals gone, let the whole world suddenly move.
All right, guys, welcome to the show. This is Terry with NSPS TV Paranormal Podcast with my co-host Irene. Hey, guys, it's Sunday Fun Day. Welcome to the Lion's Den. Tonight, man, we are in Massachusetts. First time ever in Massachusetts. Curious to know what's going on up there, man. I got a lot of questions for this young man, so I hope he's able to negotiate with me and answer some of them. Oh man, the chat is already booming. Hey, how are you guys doing in the chat, man? I am doing great. Appreciate you guys in the chat already. Quick shout out to all you guys that are on different platforms tonight: Kick, Rumble, Twitch, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and so many others, man. I really appreciate you guys joining us. Uh-oh. There we go. Now Instagram is live. We are live on Instagram. So, man, I'm curious to see what's going on. How you doing, Irene?
Pretty good. I had a long sleep last night, and I felt really good. So I'm ready to go.
Where you going?
I'm going having fun with you.
You're having fun. Oh, man, tonight. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting night. Tonight we got Jeff. Jeff is with, man, Ghost Quest Solo out of Massachusetts. How you doing today, buddy?
I'm good. No pressure at all. Apparently I'm representing the whole state of Massachusetts tonight, so no pressure at all.
Okay, that sounds cool.
It's an honor for you to represent such a large state.
Yeah, we have a lot of cool paranormal spots there.
Yeah, hey man, yes you do. And I'm curious to see. I'm ready to jump right into this, man. And I know you only get a certain amount of time to investigate before that Massachusetts weather, man, hits you. You probably get 6 on, 6 off. Am I right?
Yeah, it depends on where you're investigating. Like if you go to a place like the SK Pierce Mansion in Gardner, Mass, I'm pretty sure that's year round. They got heating and they just put in an air conditioning system. So if you go to something like that, but to use the USS Salem as an example, yeah, they definitely have a season where I think they do their last event at Halloween and then they shut down for the winter because the ship just it's way too cold in the wintertime. So we get a little of both.
Wow. I would love to come up there and just catch 1 week of bad weather, what you guys consider bad weather, 20 inches of snow. I would love to come up there just to see that, because I've never even seen 20 inches. Back home in Colorado, the only time we even see 20 inches is in the upper higher elevations of the mountains.
Have you ever been to Massachusetts?
No.
Yeah, you can have. I'll trade all my snow with you. You can have it all because I think after shoveling for 40 years,
right? You can be sick of it, right? And you want warm weather, and it's enough to go.
Dude, I'm serious, man. I will find me a thick woman up there and I will snuggle like a bug in her. Hey, they probably ain't any up there, but I will find me a thick woman up there that got some meat on her bones, and yeah, we would definitely snuggle just to keep warm.
I'll have to make some phone calls for you next time you come up.
Oh, I'm down with that. Hey, all you guys just chatting in the YouTube. Hey, man, appreciate you guys. Gals and Ghosts, what's up? How you doing? You know, Sybil, 1147, how you doing? The record, the winter was record breaking. Oh, yeah, the winter was record breaking. I'm going to put all these comments in the chat right quick, let you guys see what's going on.
We
Those
had
are all
a lot of snow here in Japan too. In the northern parts, they were just loaded with more snow, and on the Japan side, they had huge amounts of snow where no traffic could get through, and all the highways closed, and the military was handing water to people because they were stuck in their cars and they couldn't move.
Well, you're ghosts. Wait a minute, gals, ghosts, and ladies. No, you're not chopped liver. I got you.
That's my friend Jen. We've investigated.
You're cool.
Sybil's there. We've investigated together as well.
Okay, cool. You know, I appreciate it. Hey, you know what, man? Let's get right into it. You ready for this?
Let's do it.
All right. You know, before I even read the teleprompter, I'm just gonna go about what I want to ask you before I start asking you all the serious questions. You're in Massachusetts, man. Are there how many? I mean, how many are paranormal investigators are up there? I mean, do you guys do a lot of collaborations with each other? How does that whole situation work up there? I mean, you guys are technically so close together.
Yeah, I was not aware of how many investigators there are until you start going to certain events and you start making connections and meeting with people and then networking. And then now, like with Jen and Sybil are two examples of people that I met Jen on social media, and then I met Sybil at an event, and we've all just sort of been collaborating and hanging out. It's fun to just certain people that you meet, you just kind of connect with and hit it off, and those are the people that are usually the most fun to investigate with. As serious as I take my investigations, you got to have some fun too. You know, you got to find the right people to do that with.
Oh, sure. Definitely, man. I mean, you can't have with all the hard work, you got to have some play in there.
Yeah. It's sad because like, I hear about a lot of like infighting and drama going on Facebook with groups and people. And I personally, I guess I've lucked out. I really haven't I've been fortunate enough where I haven't had to experience that. So I feel bad for the people that, you know, there seems to be a lot of drama and infighting, but I stay away from that in my paranormal life and in my regular life, you know, just remove all toxic.
There you go. That's the best thing to be. You know what? And hell, who wants to go all the way up to Massachusetts for drama? Keep that shit down south. Yeah, because it seems to be down south than anything. You know, so man, welcome to the show. I really appreciate you taking your time out to come chat with me, you know, and especially on Father's Day, because I know there's probably be other things you can be doing, you know, and so on and so on. But hey, I'm really glad you were able to join. And my co-host is eating popcorn right now.
Right now, I'm opening up new stones.
Well, I feel you. So, man, first question of the day, and yeah, feel free. Tell me what you think, and if you disagree with something, feel free to let me know, and we can have a conversation about. Is that a cat or a dog?
My dog wanted to sit on my lap.
Hey, what's up, puppy?
He's like, man, who are these? She just wants a little bit of attention. She loves the limelight. There she is.
There you go. So the first question of the day, man, how do you separate? I'm just throwing it out here just as I said. How do you separate? Because this seems to be a big problem in the paranormal community. How do you separate skepticism from belief?
Separating skepticism. I think when it comes to skepticism, I think regardless of how much of a believer you are in the paranormal, you should always be a skeptic, and especially a skeptic of your own experiences and your own investigations. And I say that as somebody who investigates and edits my own videos because, there's been times where I'm watching footage of something I recorded when I was investigating, and you initially might hear something or see something that you think it's paranormal, but you always have to go through that process of elimination of trying to debunk your own stuff. So I think skepticism is very important in the paranormal world.
I like that too.
I think everybody should be a healthy skeptic.
Yeah.
Because unfortunately, we live in the world now where like there are people out there for whatever reason. I don't know why they do it, but there are people that fake evidence. Maybe they want the views. Maybe they want the clout. There's people that are just mentally ill. There's people that lie for the sake of lying. So like, especially when it comes to like other people's stuff, we should be our own skeptics, but also skeptics of our peers as well. And I think that does the whole paranormal community a service to weed out the ones that are deliberately faking.
I agree.
Yes.
I agree. And you know what? It's always good to keep on your toes and to see that not everything is paranormal. It could be the wind. It could be something, a bug. It could be anything, right? And that's where it comes to making sure your environment that you're doing is free from anything that could change it, like the air conditioning or anything else like that, right? Keep it sterile. That was the word I was trying to figure out. Keep your environment sterile so that when you're doing something, you know that there's nothing interfering, or it could be anything else but that. And skeptics keep us on our toes because we know we have to make sure that what we see is what we see, and not something else.
I agree with what you just said. I'm going to piggyback on what you said. I mean, not only are there other things out there that might explain what you're experiencing, it's paranormal is usually the last option. You want to save that as a last resort. Don't.
Mm-hmm.
I think people sort of fall into a trap where you go to a place, you hear about the reputation and the people that were murdered there, and you get all this hype going into this place in your head. It's like, I try not to do an investigation like that, regardless of the reputation of the place I'm investigating. Like, you have to prove to me that you're haunted. I never walk into a building, regardless of the reputation, expecting something to happen.
No.
And like, chances are, more times it's something explainable. Like, I was at Moundsville the other day, and like, there's like raccoons. You know what I mean? Like, there's little simple things like raccoons. Can you make? I mean, there's so many other things you have to look at before you consider anything paranormal.
There's other critters out there. Yeah, I get it.
Try not to fall into that trap of being convinced that every bump of the night is a demon.
And you can't, and especially with cat balls, just because it goes off doesn't mean that a spirit made it go off. It can go off with a bump on the floor. It can go off any old way. So it's not always a spirit saying that's communicating. That's why I can't stand some paranormal teams. When the cat balls goes, oh, thank you for communicating with me. Yeah, right.
I agree. But guys, we also have to look at some of the things that we can't see that's heavily involved that can make you disbelieve, that you're seeing things or you're hearing things in the paranormal. Like in certain locations, like carbon monoxide. Structural settings, in certain cases, I think an old house that has bad foundation, and like they say it's been up for 120 years and nobody's actually, taking care of it. So you're right, Jeff. I mean, there might be little critters running around. And if something is, someone is living there, you got to throw that whole carbon monoxide thing in there. Carbon monoxide will make you see and do weird things also.
Mold is another one. Green mold, environmental unsafe places that can also create paranormal things too. So you have to really look at all of it all together, make sure that you're debunking everything else that's there and making it right, and making sure that you You have a straight head on your shoulders. You have proper vision, and you have proper sight when you go in a place. Exactly.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's great to have that skeptic mentality. As much of a believer as I am, having seen some things, but like you have to take each individual situation on a case by case basis. I agree.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Oh, definitely. You
Even though
know,
we are investigators, we are professionals, but we know what's out there that can cause other things, and we know that even a person who may not be um, mentally challenged can create poltergeists too. So we know that there's other things out there that can explain it too, and you just have to know the ins and outs of everything too when you're doing an investigation also.
So
hmm hi.
is
Yeah, go ahead, Jeff.
I was going to ask her, is paranormal, is that really big over in Japan? Is that like a hot topic like it is in America?
No. Spirits are here. I'm here. You go this way, and I go that way, and we're good. I don't
Michael,
interact
what are
with
you
you,
doing?
and you don't interact with me. We're cool. That sounds like here. That's the simplest way to explain it. But you know what? You can go outside your front door. You can see something haunted. You don't need to buy tickets to go anywhere to see anything haunted. And places that are haunted, like this place here, my temple. Um, it's surrounded by everything haunted and everything that happened, and you don't need a ticket. You could just see it, or you only pay $4 to go to a certain place, and yeah, it's haunted.
Nice.
Yeah, man. Japan is way cheaper than the United States. I think in every aspect. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, Jeff. Dude, when I go on investigation, dude, and I don't see a point where, and I understand why people do it, but once a good investigation is done, I don't see a point of me staying 10 to 12 hours at a location. How do you feel about, long investigations?
No, I agree. I do think that for me, a good investigation time is like 6 hours. I think you can cover most places within a 6 hour period. When they do start to drag on a little bit, when it goes up into the 12-hour range, I mean, it also depends on the place. Like to use like let's say Velisca Axe Murder House. It's a pretty small house. You could probably get a 6 hour investigation and get everything accomplished. But for a place like Moundsville, you could probably use 12 hours for a place that big because it's so massive. But I do think, generally speaking, 6 hours is a good amount for me. As
Yeah, I would say 4 to 5. That I don't think if you're not getting a lot. I mean, I don't think that you can probably change these guys' minds in a 2 hour period.
Hmm.
If they're not feeling you, they're just not feeling you. And it's to me. I mean, I'm not going to stay an additional 8 hours just because I figure these guys might change their minds.
That's actually a really
You
good
know,
point because I think this is the side of paranormal investigations that a lot of people that don't investigate, they don't see. The people that only watch Ghost Adventures, they think every second of every investigation there's a demon and jump scares. But we all know as investigators that it's 99% almost, it can be boring at times. You're sitting around asking questions, not getting any answers. The time can drag on when there's not a lot of activity going on.
Yeah.
That's the part that a lot of people don't see. So yeah, I mean, I guess if I was at a place for 4 hours and like literally nothing was happening, I'd probably be tempted to leave. I mean, 4 hours is a long time when nothing is happening, you
Yeah.
know. So yeah, I guess on the other hand, if there's a lot of activity, I definitely would not want to leave.
right. But how much activity is too much act? Let's say you getting activity throughout the whole night. You know, at some point, would they get boring to you?
Right. I I can only speak for myself that as long I've been doing it now where I've become a little bit desensitized to most of the fear. Like I've had some pretty loud noises and bangs happen around me when I've been investigating lately. And like, I literally don't even, it doesn't faze me. I don't twitch. I don't move. I don't jump. So I think it's something that you can become desensitized to. Mm-hmm. I think my fear, I don't know what would have to happen to make me like literally run out of a building in fear. I don't even know. Like, I think Dogman himself would have to show up or something. Cause at this point I'm so desensitized to it. So I forgot your original question. I got off on a little bit of a tangent. What was the question again?
No, you're good. You're good.
Okay.
Like, I'm wondering, like, even though you're desensitized, you know that things go bump in the night, and you know that, well, yeah, okay, it was that. Okay, I get it. Okay, yeah, he's trying to communicate. Okay, I get it. But, you know, like, you're like me, like, I really, whatever.
Well, you don't want to give too much acknowledgement. You don't want to feed it and give it fear.
If it's a dark entity, you don't want to give it energy either. So I get where you're coming from, but also you want to make sure your boundaries are in place, like that he can't come into your realm, and you don't want to go in his realm either. But you know the boundaries, and you know where you are, you know the area, and you know what's out there too. So I get where you come from, and nothing bothers you too much, and you know it's almost like you already know what's out there, and you know how it acts, and you know how it reacts. But there are some places that can be challenging to you. You also know that too, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Like it's hard for me to watch some, as much as that, like, I'm not going to name names, but like there's some stuff on YouTube I like watching, but some of their reactions, it's so like over the top.
Like drama.
Like, oh, come on. Is like, I don't know. Maybe that's how they really react to a bump in the night. But like when I'm investigating and I hear a bump, I don't know. Like,
oh my God. Oh dear. Let's run. Oh, was that a ghost? Was that a demon? Oh dear. Oh no. Let's get the heck out of here. Like I said.
Yeah. It does get hard to watch some of that stuff sometimes.
I know. Like, if they go running, I'll be running in there and saying, where?
But I remember, like, my very first investigation alone, my first solo investigation, we're coming up on the 2-year anniversary of my first episode when I filmed in Yorktown. Are you familiar with Yorktown Memorial Hospital? You're from Texas. You know that, right? In Yorktown, Texas? Look it up. Didn't care
much about the place. Didn't care much about it, but it is what it is.
Well, I mean, the reason why I bring it up is that was the spot that I did my first investigation on, and like the level of fear that I was experiencing. I've told the story before where I was at the hotel getting ready for my investigation, and my hands literally went numb from fear. That's how scared I was. Fast forward to 2 years later, and I think it's just something over time that you build up a callus for. You know, like at this point.
Yeah,
it doesn't bother me anymore.
Yeah, and I think you know that they're playing on your feelings and they're playing on your fear, and the more you do it, the more it's gonna affect you, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like that's the theory. Is that this is a theory. I'm not speaking on this as an expert, but just from what I've heard other people talk about, they say that the spirits can supposedly feed on that fear, and then they sort of feed on it, and it can sort of make it worse. So yeah, that's another reason to try and just remain calm as you can and don't feed into it.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
I get
it. Yeah. I mean, dude, you're in Massachusetts, bro. How does a lot of the colonial history, how does that impact certain type of hauntings you have encountered up there?
I think the closest place I've investigated to, that's connected to let's say the colonial style era would be the Longfellow's Wayside in I think it's Sudbury, Massachusetts. Mm-hmm. That is the oldest operating continuous inn in the United States, I believe. And it goes as far back to I think the early 1700s. And like during the Revolutionary War, like George Washington, actually, him and his troops They didn't actually go into it, but they marched by the inn on the way up to Boston to, get ready for the war. And so that place is probably the closest I can relate to that. But I think there's another one. There's a hotel in Concord, Massachusetts that's supposed to be haunted. That's right near where the shot heard around the world happened. The first shot of the Revolutionary War. That's all like right there. So Massachusetts is definitely heavy with like early American history, colonial era style history. I can't even imagine. There's definitely going to be some influence in our hauntings from that era for sure, I believe.
I totally agree with that, man. I'm pretty sure there are a lot of old historical buildings that are just waiting to get into and get a chance to investigate. I think those places are cool, but it's not as cool as the next location that we're about to talk about. What's your take on the Salem's reputation? Do you think that place was really as bad as people think it was?
What's funny, as a Massachusetts resident, I typically try to stay out of Salem because it's sort of like a tourist trap. You know what I mean? It's like it's almost like being in Florida and going to Disneyland. Locals stay away. I did go there once as a kid, and we did all the kitschy sort of like haunted house stuff, and it was fun. There's nothing wrong with it, but I am still intrigued with the history of the Salem witch trials. I've always been fascinated with that. There was actually did you guys ever catch that show Salem? It was on TV about 10 years ago. It was set in that timepiece with the witches. That was a good show. I don't know much about it, but I'm extremely fascinated with the history of it. Yeah, it's crazy to think
now, does Salem sit on the original ground of where that location is, or is it somewhere else?
I believe there are still original buildings that are still standing today from that timepiece. I want to say, like, I think it was the judge's house that was that participated in the trial. But yeah, there's still some original stuff around from that time.
Oh, dude, I'd like to go up there and check that out. Have you? Go ahead.
Because me being a gray witch, okay, I feel the energy from there, and there's so much that happened that it was unnecessary, and I think religion had a lot to do with it. If you didn't believe in God, you'd be labeled as a witch, and you would have certain things done to you that no human being should have done to them. And it's just one of those things that it was done here in Japan too. They did a lot of the samurai warriors did a lot of things to the women just because they were giving out herbs to a sick person, that they would be labeled as a witch because they weren't men, they weren't a male species, and that's one part of history that I think will never go away. But I think even today, if you're a little bit different, they would label you as a witch, right? And it's just wrong, wrong. Because they'll say, "Oh, you got the demon in you," or you're gonna play with your candles and stuff like that, and have a pentagram. Yeah, I use my pentagram, but it's not like what you think. It's not like what everyone else thinks, and it's so wrong. They're deemed as the devil worshippers. It's so bad, and like I want to just get my right hook into it, but it is what it is, right?
Yeah, it's crazy to think that it's crazy to think that at a point in time people were being executed for accused of being a witch, and now we look at it by modern standards, and it's crazy to think that even ever happened.
But it is a part of history, right?
Jeff, have you ever reached out to the man? I can imagine what these guys are going through. Have you ever reached out to the Historical Society in Massachusetts to do any of those fabulous locations that they own personally? Or have they even called out to you for anything?
I can't speak to the Salem Historical Society, but I actually investigated the Weymouth, Massachusetts Historical Society, and that also has a lot of colonial ties as well. That was a pretty interesting investigation. Jen was there.
Yep.
Jen from the chat room was there. We investigated together.
Yeah.
I'm trying to read. All the people in the chat room. I can read what you're saying. I just can't respond. I tried to join the chat, but my computer wouldn't let me. So, but I see everything you guys are saying.
Oh.
It's, even being sensitive, even being sensitive, or even being clairvoyant, you still would be prosecuted, and I think I would be too. I think that's why a lot of us stay quiet here. We don't want to talk about it. We don't want to talk to anybody, and we just keep our heads down. And you know what? Things have not changed very much, even though it's changed. I think it hasn't changed by the skeptics and the religious people. I'm not going to knock it because there's part of religion that I still keep, but I think there's skeptics and they're hypocrites all around it. And you just want to be you, and you want to tell people that hey, I'm this and I'm that, and I'm not here to hurt you. I'm not here to harm you. I'm just here to talk with you, and opening up your minds a little bit more. But I guess they're not going to do it, and that's fine too.
You'd be
What?
surprised.
Speaking of, I remembered after the question you asked previously about the colonial history, I totally forgot about the Peter Oliver House in Middleborough, Massachusetts. I don't know if you've ever heard of that place, but that place goes deep to colonial era Massachusetts before the Revolutionary War. Apparently, there were some people that were loyal to England living in this house, and like Ben Franklin had visited there. We all know who Ben Franklin is. I think he's on like what, the $20 bill, is it, or the $100 bill? I don't even know. No, $100 bill. He's on 100.
I've never seen one of those before.
If you're ever in Massachusetts, if you're into the whole colonial history, the Peter Oliver House is the place to go. I think that's where they were just last night. Jen and them were there last night, if I'm not mistaken. But I'm sorry, I just had that when you asked me that question, I had to say that. But.
No, you're fine. You're fine. You're fine.
The old houses, I like to see a lot of them, and I like to feel the energy. And I bet they're just, but I guess people are afraid to talk about the old houses in Massachusetts, and the you just know that they're hinky when you just look at it, right?
Yeah, we get like Massachusetts, like in the area that I live in. I used to live in Templeton, like in the. That they still have houses from like the 1700s, 1800s. That's a pretty common thing around here, So there's a lot of history that goes back hundreds of years in the Massachusetts area for sure.
Wow, I don't even want to talk about the Native American aspect of living in Massachusetts.
Yeah, I don't think any of the Native Americans. It sounds like they got a good deal out of that situation. You know what I'm saying? I think it's the Algonquin. Were those the big ones in Massachusetts? I should know that, but I'm saying it like I don't know for sure. But I think that's the Indian on the Massachusetts state flag. I think he's an Algonquin. But somebody's going to have to fact check me on that one.
Okay.
Yeah, because I have no clue. Fact check me too.
I should know that. I should know that.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, there's a lot of, would we really ever know? I mean, history at this point in today's history is so blemished. It's so, clouded. We will never, ever know.
No.
Until
we'll
we get that time machine and go back.
I feel like the more you know, the more you realize, the more you start to wonder how much we've been lied to throughout our lives. Whatever they have in the history books in school, like how much of that is actually real or how much of it happened the way they say it happened. And I'm sure there's a lot of that with like the Native American stuff too,
And that's been whitewashed too,
Yeah.
Because they don't want you to know what really happened. And especially statues have been taken down, but it's a part of history, right? The good and the bad. And even though you don't agree with it, it still happened, and you can't change it, and you can't remove certain icons that did happen, and you can't say, oh no, we don't want to do that. That's just totally against what these people felt and those people felt. Like, why are you doing that, right? It's a part of history. Even though it was bad, it's still a part of history. And I think all people should know and should learn the good and the bad part. You just don't want to say, "Oh, we don't want to. We want to change that. We don't want our kids to know that." But why not? Because not everything is good in history. Not everything is bad in history either. And you know, I think we're more history buffs than as being paranormal investigators than the regular Joe Blow on the street. I think telling the truth brings light to it. Hiding it brings a dark shadow to it, and it's gonna get worse if you do that.
I agree.
Yeah, I agree. You know, my thing about the whole Native American thing is, and I've always been interested, and in his Native American in history, it's so it's so dark, so misunderstood. Milo, stop that! Oh, they eating? Why are you eating plastic? And and I can't help but ask. Sometimes I've asked Native Americans, where did your ancestors go? And, and some of them are like, and it's hard for me to believe that millions and millions and millions of Native Americans were wiped out by a army. I mean, not just army, it was plagues and diseases and everything, something that they're not really used to. You know what I'm saying? Their bodies were not able to handle certain things.
Yeah.
But let's talk about that for a minute. I mean, if you look at it, you have Native Americans from Maine all the way down to Florida, from Florida all the way over into Texas, from Texas all the way up to Nebraska, all the Midwest. Then we're not even talking about the Utes in Utah, what's going on in Arizona, all the Native Americans in the West.
Yeah.
How can all of them just get wiped out?
That's a good question. I don't have an answer to. That's
I don't believe. I don't. History tells us that we wiped them out, but there's a darker side of this that a lot of people don't want to talk about. A lot of people don't think that these guys are the first ones to encounter the sky gods. These ones, the sky gods were living among them at some point. So why is it not possible that when the sky gods left, they took the natives with them? They gave them a choice. Hey, you can stay here on this bummed out planet, or you can come back. Or you can go home.
Yeah.
I've heard the theory only just from being a fan of the show Ancient Aliens, so I can't really speak too much of that from experience. But I have had that theory. I've heard the theory before. Yes.
It's weird to me. And a lot of people are so insistent. Well, they were just wiped out by plague and disease and all this other stuff, but people don't look at the other side of the train tracks on who and what they were dealing with at that time.
Yeah.
When I go down a strange rabbit hole, where do you think Bigfoot came from? Do you think Bigfoot is a flesh and blood, or do you think it came from somewhere else?
I think Bigfoot is just an evolution of time that has, that's probably have evolved to a certain point and continue to evolve. I think I don't think Bigfoot actually came from another planet. I just think Bigfoot, what at some point in time is very intelligent person. I don't think so. I just think that he's who he is, and he's been like that since the beginning of time, and he's going to continue being like that. I mean, I'm not saying that he's a prodigy of another planet.
I actually have the same theory as you. I do believe that Bigfoot evolved on Earth. I don't believe that Bigfoot came from somewhere else. I think some people. I'm sorry.
Portals where they go in and out, and they come and they go, so they're free. as spirits are too, and they have their own portals, and they come and they go as they please, and when they do, they do, and when they don't, they don't. That's the thing about Bigfoot, and and um and certain things about that because they're also mythical, also. So yeah,
Is it possible that Bigfoot is a part of the Nephilim giant? Could he be a giant, a Nephilim giant? From what uh, the book of Enoch is saying, these guys were a part of history. So who's to say that they are is not a part of that culture?
yeah.
The Kandahar giant, facts
Hmm.
that these giants really existed. Go to Afghanistan and go to Kandahar and see, and he'll tells about that particular giant that they caught and captured in the cave.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Oh,
have to
it's-
blood theory myself. That's what I think.
There's a lot out there. And you know what? No one's gonna tell you the truth about it either because you till the day
I
we die.
think it's going to come out. I think it's going to come out eventually, and when it once it does, I think it's going to put people like me, you, and Irene out of business.
Right.
Nah, I don't think so.
Because I
I'll still be
think all of
kicking.
this is tied in. Because here's the thing, guys. Once a being that's millions of years older than us come on this planet, tells us that we created you in our image,
Hmm.
and there is no God. If we created you in our image, then there is no God. Everything that you see, everything that you worship, we made for you. How you think society would handle that?
I think that's a big part of the reason why that the government is withholding the information that they know about aliens because they don't want it. They think it's going to affect religion on Earth. Then there's going to be bigger questions asked. We're supposed to be the apex. Human is supposed to be the apex of God's creation, but there might be very well other life out there that they're more advanced than us, they're more intelligent than us, they've been around longer. So I think that would throw a wrench in some of the religious views on Earth, which is a big part of the reason why I think that and technology is, I think, the two reasons why the government is not doing full disclosure. They're doing like
Yeah.
a slow crawl. That's what I think.
But I don't think they won't be able to hold that in forever.
No, they won't. There's too many whistleblowers coming out now. It's going to be in a matter of time. But I mean, I also think from the technology aspect, if they have anti-gravitic technology, I mean, I think for a couple of reasons, I get the whole national security thing. Like, you don't want to have like terrorists and bad guys having like access to time travel and anti-gravity and all that stuff. So I get they want to keep it out of the public eye, but also on the other hand, let's not kid ourselves. It's about money. They want to give this stuff to private contractors and have them. If you ever read the book The Day After Roswell with retired Colonel Philip J. Corso, he talks about that's where a lot of technology came from: LEDs, the computer chip, bulletproof. What was the other one? There's a few of them. There's a bunch of technologies they say came from the Roswell crash in '47. So I think they're still doing that today. They're holding it back.
Yeah, and it's funny because here where I am across the Pacific Ocean, technology is used quite a lot, and now they have a submarine that's so stealthy, it can sneak up on you, and you won't even know that it's there, and they use it in Japan Sea, and then they crept out behind a Russian submarine, and they freaked out, and they ran as fast as they could, and going, ha ha, they went like that, But technology is really weird because they use a lot of alien technology in Japan because aliens have been coming to this country for a long time now, and their presence is noted everywhere, and it's crazy because it's weird because whatever happened here, whatever technology is here is not shared with the ones in America. It's not shared with American scientists, and I don't know why is that. Medically too, there's a lot of medical stuff that's coming out here, and they're working on a heart that's man-made, and they're not going to share it with America, and I don't know why. Why is it that way? Is only shared with here and not overseas, because there's a lot of people that could benefit from it too, but they're not using technology for the government. They're using technology to help people, so that people who are stuck in the wheelchairs can have the ability to walk on their 2 feet now. But I think they're using it in a different way, and not so much as to destroy another person, but to help people. And I don't know. What's your thoughts?
Well, I think unfortunately that's a
Weird.
big part. I think unfortunately, to piggyback on what you were saying again, I think that's part of the problem is that people are more focused on making money and not helping people. If
Yeah.
they make money from it right now, then they're not going to release it to the general public. I mean, I can't even imagine the technology that aliens have as far as like, I mean, you hear theories about like these machines where people can get inside and they can be cured of all their diseases and have all the cancers removed. It's like, if that's really true,
Hmm.
if they can't make money off of it, they're not going to release it to the public. Unfortunately, a lot of the priorities of the people that run the world is more financial than
Yeah.
your health, my health, whether I live or die, whether you live or die. They don't give a shit about that. They just want to make more money. That's all they care about. And I think
That's all
that's
they
another,
care about.
that's another reason why a lot of this technology, I think, is being held in regards to the medical, like you were just talking about. That's my theory anyway.
And it's
Mhm.
funny because this Tokyo University student has made I think you've seen Harry Potter with a cloak, the invisible cloak. He made an invisible cloak, and it's so funny because it was on Facebook one time, and then I don't know if he got a rise out of that. I don't know if anybody um um asked him or approached him, but it was kind of funny because it went through Facebook and it disappeared as quick as possible, and it was gone the next day.
Right. I mean, imagine if we did have this technology where they could put somebody in this machine and cure anything, Alzheimer's, cancer, AIDS,
Yeah.
whatever. What would they charge for that? Like $10 million? But then they would be pieces of you know what I mean? Like, I think they would be probably burned at the stake for not releasing it to the world. You know what I mean? I think that's part of the reason they're not releasing it.
And another thing too is I'm afraid to say it that big pharma would be out of business because they're in
Of
business
course.
in keeping people
Absolutely.
hooked on medicine and not getting well. If people got well, boy, big pharma would be out of business. Like,
No, that's a really good point. Big pharma would be over tomorrow if a machine came out that could cure everything. Then that's a really good point. I didn't. That's probably another reason too. They want to sell you pills. They don't want to cure you. They want to treat you, right?
yeah,
Right.
they want to keep you sick so you could get more medicine from them, right?
Sad but true. Sad but true.
They want to cure you slowly. They want to drain all the damn money out of you.
No, they
You
want
know.
to kill you slowly. They want to kill you
Well, that
slowly.
too.
Not cure you, kill you slowly.
They want to medicate you while they're killing you slowly. There you go.
Exactly.
I agree.
We figured it out tonight here on this podcast. We figured it out. That's what they're doing.
Guys,
You know-
I've
Oh,
yeah, I've never used. This is a word I've never used, but I'm pretty sure other teams, other organizations, other paranormal investigators, other parapsychologists have used this. You know, and to me, it's just a word I've never used. So Jeff, in your, have you ever used something? Have you ever tried to explain something, and you're like, well, man, it's something that I can't explain, but yet you can like, well, man, I'm gonna leave that inconclusive to some point. So the question is, what's the difference between unexplained and inconclusive in the paranormal community?
I think, speaking for myself, when I do investigations, sometimes it's genuinely hard to tell the difference between that. Like, is it inconclusive? Is it paranormal? Is it explainable? You're not going to have a resolution or an answer to every single thing or incident or noise you hear throughout the night. You sort of do the best you can and navigate that. But always, again, going back to being a skeptic and try to debunk first. But I think more often than not, you're just never going to know. Like when I investigated the Salem, I mean, I was hearing all sorts of noises left and right. And I'm thinking to myself, like, I don't even know. Like if somebody asked me, was that a ghost? I couldn't answer them honestly and say yes, because I don't know. But it's like, it's pretty, I think a lot of it is timing too. Like, you know, if you're getting noises directly in response to questions you're asking, that that helps narrow it down a little bit. But even still, sometimes you're just never going to know.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. The thing is that we can never find out what it was. We'll never know what it was. It's weird because when I hear spirits, they whisper, they talk like they're whispering in my ear. Okay, this is the ear that they use, and I cannot tell you what I heard. I cannot explain what I heard, and I cannot make you hear what I heard, but it's there, and I cannot tell you who it was, but it's really hard when you're in this field, like trying to explain to anybody or even Terry or somebody who's out there who's in the same field that this is what I'm hearing, and how you don't that person. Well, you don't. I can't say that for sure, but it's there,
Mhm.
and I can't debunk it either because it's in my ear. And like, what am I gonna do, right?
Well, I
Either
think,
you,
unfortunately,
you
in
know,
the current world, I think what would be considered evidence is a subjective question or a subjective question answer, because you might ask 10 different paranormal investigators, what do you consider evidence? You might get 10 different answers. You know what I mean? So that's, I,
exactly.
I think when you start seeing things like, I mean, I think the holy grail of paranormal is a full body apparition. That's the most
Yeah.
rare form of paranormal evidence that anybody can come across. But I think if you're lucky enough to see that, then I think that also, like, if I seen something, then I could say, okay, that's probably paranormal. That's a ghost. That's a whatever. But like when
Yeah.
you hear things, it's a little bit harder to sort of like
Yeah.
narrow it down. But like, obviously when you start seeing things, that ups the
Yeah.
likelihood of it actually being something paranormal.
It's funny because when I hear things and when I interact with it more and more, they eventually reveal themselves and they show what kind of clothes they're wearing. They show the colors. They show how their hair was. They even show the color of the hair. They even show if they're wearing a beanie or if they're wearing a hat or if they don't have one. It's just unbelievable because at the beginning you might hear something, and the more you interact, the more they trust you to show their whole body, and it's kind of freaky when they do that because okay, yeah, you're wearing this and this is okay, I get it, but sometimes it's really difficult because you're dealing with something that you don't know. They don't know you from the hole in the ground, and do they trust you? That's another story, right? If they trust you or not, or if they want to really reveal themselves to you, it's a whole different ball game when it comes to that, right? And and yeah, you just have to sit there and listen and watch, and sometimes it'll take hours to do that. Sometimes it'll take only minutes to do that too. It depends on where you are. It depends on what you're talking to. It depends on who you're talking to. Also,
Exactly.
I
Yeah,
want
that's
I want to ask you
okay.
something really freaky. Have you ever been to a place that you really don't want to go back anymore, and you say, "No, I'm done"?
I have yet to find a place that has scared me enough where I would not go back. I think that it's the problem with paranormal. It's the exact opposite. Is you always want to go back, but there's only
Yeah,
enough time. There's only enough time and money to go around. You know what I'm saying? Like there's certain places that I would love to continuously go back to again and again and again. But then you have to make the decision. Okay, if I'm going to spend a bunch of money and drive a bunch of miles or fly, am I going to go investigate a place I've already been to twice, as fun as it is and cool as it is, or am I going to go somewhere I've never been before? And that's sort of the battle that I sort of, that's the dilemma. Not that I don't ever want to go back, it's that I do want to go back.
it just depends,
Interesting.
right, on how you're weighing the two, which one is heavier and which one is lighter, right?
I'm waiting for the day that something scares me enough where I don't want to go back. I am open to the challenge.
Mm. Me too. That'd be one hell of a challenge, guys. And Irene, I'm going to put you in this the next question that I have. But this question is, Is there a difference between science and belief?
Are you?
Go ahead. You first.
I mean, well, I think science in being experiments, in being like that, you try to get repeated patterns of things, which is, I think, what the experiment, which leads to what could be considered science. So I think if you want to try and go that route, that can be like, what was the question? Science versus belief?
Yes, science versus belief.
Well, it's good to be science-based when you're investigating. Like, again, doing experiments and trying to get repeated patterns of the same things is, I think, how science works. But like belief is sort of a loose, vague term, in my opinion, where like anybody can just believe in anything. You know, like some people just believe in God, some people believe in this, but like I'm kind of the other way around. Like, I think the only thing I could say I truly believe in without ever having seen proof is aliens. I believe that alien life exists all over the cosmos. But with the exception of that, for me to believe something, I have to see it with my own eyes. And when it comes to like the paranormal stuff, even when I started seeing things, I was still in a bit of a stage of denial. And I finally get over that denial stage, and now I'm in the belief stage. But I think science needs. I was thinking about this the other day. It would be nice if there was some science lab in some college somewhere in America where they would start taking these paranormal investigations more seriously and start doing actual like scientific like tests and investigations and try to get the repeated patterns, which is how science starts. I think there needs to be more science in the paranormal field for sure.
I agree. I agree 100% with you. And you know what? If they saw what we could see, we have plenty of evidence right out there. We have shown that it does exist. Life after death does exist, and there is evidence out there. The thing is that okay, I'm going to change it to the country. I'm going to use my country as an example. Certain young people don't believe it because they're going to the books and saying, okay, if I don't see it, if I don't feel it, if I can't touch it, I don't believe it. Okay, that's wrong. That's the really sad part of it, because they're looking at it analytically and not seeing as it could be a physical being. And the more analytical they get, the more skeptic they become, and the more they don't believe. Compared to the older people who do believe and who do know that there is life after death, and they know that there are spirits out there. And if you want to find out which place is haunted, you just ask an old person and they'll tell you, and they'll give you a whole book on it if you want to, if you're going to sit there and talk to them. I think young people have become more skeptic and more cold to the fact that they don't believe it. And it's really sad, because this country is being haunted by samurai warriors, by things that were beings and everything else, and including the alien life too. But they don't want to believe it. They don't want to see it. They don't want to understand it. And they'd rather read it out of a book than go there and really feel and touch it. You know?
Yeah,
It's like AT&T, go out and reach out and touch someone. They don't want to do that. I think they're more scared because they know their country's haunted. They know that there's things there, and kids are subjected to it from the comics and from the manga that's on the television that show that there are spirits out there, good and bad, and yet they just ignore it, and it's frustrating, I think, for me.
I feel like the paranormal has become more socially acceptable over the years. It feels like it wasn't that long ago where if you talked about ghosts in public, people would probably laugh at you, or maybe they might never look at you the same again. They might think, oh, this guy over here, okay, he believes in ghosts. Now, I'm not saying that still doesn't exist. I'm sure it does today, and it always will. But I believe, because there's sort of a blessing and the curse of some of these TV shows on TV that we're all familiar with, is like a little bit of oversaturation, a little bit of overdramatic stuff. But at the same time, I think those are the same shows that are opening the doors into people's minds to become a little bit more willing to accept that there's things out there that maybe we don't have an explanation for, but it doesn't mean that they don't exist and they're not real just because we don't know how to put words to it or definitions.
Yeah. But you see, I'd be locked in a loony bin if I told people what I do.
It probably wasn't that long ago where, I can imagine in the 1950s, if you went around talking about aliens and ghosts, you might get locked up in a nut house. You know what I mean? They didn't do that to you back then.
Here now,
Right.
I would be. Here now, I would be. And they'll say, oh, you're kooky. Oh, you're crazy. But you see, I'm the only person that will come out on Facebook and say that, because if you do that here on Facebook and you live in Japan, you'd be canned. Your job would be gone tomorrow.
Yeah, that's too bad. That's unfortunate that it's that way. But I think over time, again, I think people will slowly become more accepting of it.
And, it's
Yeah, I
sad.
think so. And it won't be our generation that would, blow this thing up. I think the next generation of paranormal investigators, those are the guys that are going to have the opportunity to do the things that we've never done. And they have the opportunity to blow this thing wide open, and just maybe the paranormal, just maybe the scientific community will accept us as a true science. If the aliens don't come down here and fuck it up for us and say, hey, we made you in our image and all this is going on, and yes, that is true, and blah, blah, blah. And I think that would be hundreds of years of thousands of hours of investigating gone to shit, because now we actually know the truth. And we're thinking, like, what the hell did I go to that building for and investigate when these little guys just told me everything I ever needed to know about it? And I'm like, damn, dude, I could be fucking on a yacht drinking beer right now, then in this building freaking investigating this cold building. But it is what it is, man. I've asked 100 million people that ever came on the show, man. If I presented something to you that would give you all the knowledge of the world about the paranormal, most people would say, I would not accept that knowledge. I would want to continue everything that I want to learn everything on my own.
Well, look at it this way.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Not only in the last 20 years or so has the paranormal become more socially acceptable, but the advancement in technology in regards to the paranormal tools. I mean, there's so many like gadgets and new pieces of equipment that are always coming out. I mean, look at what's happened in the last 20 years in the advancement of the paranormal technology. Who knows? Maybe in 10 years from now, they're going to invent something that can detect ghosts, like legit. I mean, or like more than what's happening now. You know what I mean? So not only is it becoming more socially acceptable, but I think the technology advancement in the field is becoming amazing. It's taking leaps and bounds.
Yeah. I mean, technology, they just created a new spirit detecting tool, and Panasonic has come out of it, but they're not going to tell you. They're not gonna stick it out there in the public. There's just behind lock and key we call it technology world here in this one area in Japan where they have all this technology. They put it on the shelves and you still sell it or not. Like, they're not gonna tell you. It's just, yeah, they create it under privacy and under secrecy, and buy it if you want to, but you don't have to buy it if you don't want to, right?
Yeah.
But
all right, guys. So it's gonna be interesting. Irene, this question is for both of you guys. Now, considering that you are what you are, and I've actually run across a couple of organizations that are like this. So, and both of you guys, Jeff and Irene, what is your view on mediums versus tech-based investigators? Who should we believe?
All right, who's going first? You going first?
Okay, for me, I don't use equipment. I go in there Okay, I'm gonna say it. Literally naked, okay? Which means I have my clothes on, but I don't use equipment and I don't care to use it. Equipment is for people like Terry and other people. It's just to confirm what I heard, confirm what I see,
Wait. How did you put
confirm what
me
I
in that
feel.
situation?
But I don't care if you don't see. If you, yeah, I'm here to show you what I see and what I feel and what I hear. If you don't believe me, that's fine. I don't give a rat's ass if you do or don't. That's my answer.
You see what I go through every day?
Can I ask you a question? How did you two meet from Texas and Japan? Like, where did that start?
That's the story for another podcast.
The podcast. Okay.
Well, I saw his podcast a couple times, and I said, and then when his spouse died, I said, you know what? I could help you. I could reach out, and if you want to talk, I could reach out to her, and you guys could talk, and and he thought I was, but eventually we became friends, and yeah, and then she's here, his grandfather's there, and his father's there, and his sister's there. Okay, there you go.
Well, and the craziest thing is, I was always a solo podcaster, and Irene had a podcast that was called what Spooky Japan, with her and another lady from Japan had this podcast, and things didn't happen out there, the way that they wanted it to. So I don't know why they ended the show. Nobody's telling me anything. Everything's hush hush. I felt like it's a government conspiracy why these two women cannot coexist on their damn podcast show. Nobody's freaking speaking up on it, and so I'm like, you know what? I could use a co-host,
Nice.
and it would take pressure off of me if I had a co-host. So, me and Irene, we probably talked 3 or 4 times a week. So I'm like, well, hey, would you like to be my co-host? And she was like, yeah, yeah, and we've been doing it ever since. How long has it been, Irene? Almost a year since we've been doing this.
Oh yeah.
And before then, I was podcasting by myself for about 3 or 4 years alone.
Yeah.
And the rest is, there's there's other things that happen in between there.
Mm-hmm.
She's getting to arguments with demonologists and other people, just raising all kind of hell on podcast shows. But she's been a cool co-host. I have not had any problems whatsoever. The only problem that I have with Irene is she speaks her mind, and that's just the way it is. It's just something I got to deal with. There's no sugarcoat anything.
I don't sugarcoat anything.
So what you're saying is she's like a bad rash. It's just something you got to deal with, is what you're saying.
Well, technically she's like my little sister.
But I'm older than him.
She don't know how old I really am.
Well, I do too. Come on. You can't lie to a clairvoyant. You know that.
Somehow it works. Somehow it works. You're dynamic. I guess you're the yin and the yang of each other's spirit, right? And that's what it is.
I'm the crazy one. I like being the crazy one.
Well, like in regards to like the whole medium question, I think I think mediums is one thing I'm skeptical of, in the sense of like, the problem I have with mediums is like anybody can just call themselves a medium. So then the trouble becomes, how do you tell the difference between a real medium and a fake medium? Because unfortunately, just like in the paranormal world, there's a lot of people that are out there just to make money, to scam people. And then there's the real ones that have to differentiate themselves from those people. But I'll tell
Yeah.
you a story. I investigated in New Orleans a couple of years ago with a medium, and this woman told me that everybody is sensitive on some level. And I think I agree with that because I personally have had some really strange experiences through my life, which we're not really going to have time to get into all of them. But, and then you have these experiences that really strange experiences that you don't have explanations for. And then you start to think, well, maybe there is something out there. And it's like, I think mediumship is something like, if we all have it, some of us are the Michael Jordan of mediumship, and some of us are sitting on the bench, if to use a basketball analogy. Some people just have that natural Michael Jordan ability to be a medium, and then some people might have it and never realize they have it. Some people might have it and have to work on it. So I do believe there is something there, and I don't know if you want to call it a sixth sense of some kind.
Mhm.
Only after having experiences myself, I do believe there is something there.
But I'm gonna tell you something, okay? Don't ever go to a person who says how much are you gonna pay, because being a medium, you don't ask for money, and you don't pay anybody to help you. I all the stuff that I do is for free because people need help, and I don't refuse to take money from people who who um who needs help. And if you're in dire straits, I will help you, but I will not take a cent from you because I don't believe in that.
I,
Same
I
same thing as paranormal. If you have a haunted house, I will help you, but don't ask. But when people ask me how much do you charge, I don't charge anything.
I have mixed emotions about that. Like I feel like I think what you're saying is sweet that you refuse to charge money, but like if there's anything that's worth money on this earth, would it not be if you could talk to your dead relative? Like let's say your grandmother or your mother, your dad passed away, and then there's this person that you can go to and pay them a small amount of money and you can talk to your dead relative. If there's anything that's worth money on this planet, I think that would be it. But at the same time, I think where I have a problem where the money gets involved is people that are deliberately scamming people. If you're
Exactly, exactly. And I that's why I don't want to charge anybody. But I'll say, you know what? Send me a jar of peanut butter because that's expensive in Japan, okay? Or something munchies, okay? Because I'll accept that as payment.
I will gladly pay a jar of peanut butter to speak to my dead grandmother. Absolutely, deal.
Because you know it it's more about the the effort and saying, you know what, thank you, and I said you're welcome. And the thing is with other people, they say, well, how much do you charge if and I said, well, your son wants to tell you something. He said, how much do you charge? I'm not going to charge you shit. Like, either you listen to me or not. If you believe me or not, I don't care, because I don't care if you believe me or not. I don't care if you want to listen to me or not. Whatever you take out of it is for you to accept it and go with it. If you don't, that's fine too.
I
But
have to get a more comfortable chair to do podcasts in. I cannot sit still. I keep like doing a
I
little
know
bit of this, a little
you
bit of
got to
that. I
answer
need
your
like
back, right?
I'm
But
gonna buy like a nice recliner so I can just sit here and just chill.
yeah, I know.
Yeah, get you a podcast chair. You'd be
Yeah,
okay.
I know. I can't. I'm like, how long do you guys? How long are we gonna go for? We're gonna. What's the ETA on this?
Let's see here. Good conversation. Probably about another 30 minutes or so.
All right, cool. I feel like the YouTube chat room is there like a time lag? Because I feel like when I finally read what they're saying, it feels like stuff we talked about a couple minutes ago, or maybe
Well,
there's.
here's the thing. There is a delay in YouTube when they put it up.
Hmm.
That's probably what it is.
It's lagging sometimes, you know. And I agree with you, Sybil. There are so many scammers out there, and it gives me a bad reputation because people think that you have to charge something to get help, and and I'm trying to remove that from the stigma of being a clairvoyant. And there are things that I do not know. There are things I will not understand. There are things I will not know. And there are things that I cannot be like. I'm not like Madame Medusa, and I can't give you a fortune. And that's not my job. And that's why I quit giving readings, because people think I'm like Madame Medusa, and they say, "What am I thinking about?" I said, "How the hell should I know what the hell you're thinking about?" And I couldn't give a rat's ass what the hell you're thinking about. That's the thing. And I'm here just to show you what, if you have a distant relative who wants to talk to you or something like that, or if I see a spirit in your camera, that I unfortunately I don't see a spirit in your camera, Jeff, so you're okay. But I mean, there are things out there that that we cannot explain, or I cannot explain, and I can't tell you. There are scammers, and there are people who think that they go to school and they learn how to be a medium, so they got their huge certificates. See, I'm a medium now. I go, yeah, right.
They
And
actually
there are
have
people,
they actually have certificates for that. I did not know that. I did not know that.
yeah, you take this dumb stupid course, and then they give you certificate and said, well, look at me, I'm a medium now. I go, will be dang, okay.
Right, right.
Like,
Yeah,
the
I
same
don't like that.
they have the same certificate that says, well, I'm no a preacher, because I did this course so I could become an ordained minister. Okay, I guess. Okay.
I don't
Yeah.
take that. Yeah, that's crazy. Well, okay, let's see here. Jeff, what would it take for you to actually believe there is life after death?
I feel like at this point, I've seen a couple things that have already convinced me of that. I feel like it's unfortunate the more intense paranormal experiences I've had in my life were what we would consider personal experiences. In other words, there's no you didn't catch it on video, you don't have any sort of evidence or proof. It's just basically your word, and people can choose to believe you or not believe you. I had some personal experiences about 10, 12 years ago that's when I crossed that threshold of being like, because I had always been fascinated with that stuff, like ghosts, UFOs, Bigfoot, all that stuff ever since I was a little kid. But as much as if in all the years that I watched all the TV shows, I would have never considered myself a believer until I started seeing things on my own, and that's when I became a true believer. So that moment has already happened for me, for sure.
Okay, okay.
Can I ask the question, Terry?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, Jeff. Okay, there's a lot of stuff that I know that a lot of people want to know, and including Terry. We pick a fight with each other every time I tell him. There's a lot of things that I do know, what happens when you die, and where you go, and what's next. And I'm wondering, would you want to know, or would you not want to know my information that I have?
Yeah, let's hear it.
Sorry, can't tell you.
Well, that's not wait. Is it something about me specific, or just in general?
No,
Oh.
about when we die.
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody has their own theories, right? I mean, I think to break it down to its simplest element, if you want to use a science sort of physics analogy, everything in the universe is energy and matter. We have our bodies; these are our physical beings, our matter. When this ceases to exist, I do believe there is something that some people choose to call a conscience, some people call a spirit. I'm sure there's 100 other names for it. When we die, I do believe there's a piece of energy, a piece of us that does continue on in some form. Now, as far as where that goes, what happens to it after that, it's out of, we could all theorize and speculate as to what happens after that. Do you go to heaven? Do you go to hell? Are you stuck here on earth? Can you come and go through different dimensions? Can you come, I mean, the rabbit hole is endless.
And the thing is that I know because I was given this information, but I cannot tell anybody because it's under wrap and key. And I was sworn to secrecy, never to tell. And that's the part where Terry gets in a fluster because I cannot tell him, and he gets really annoyed with me. And the thing is that in time you will know on your own, but it's not for anybody else like me to tell you. And I can tell you one thing: there's no such a thing as hell.
Yeah, I think hell was sort of was something created by the church to sort of keep people in line. I think that's a good possibility. It's like
It's
do
to
as
scare the shit out of you, to make sure that you do good, not bad.
yeah, do what we tell you to do, or you're going to burn in hell. I mean, if the thought of committing a sin was going to, or basically to not follow the Bible or not follow the church, well, you're going to burn in hell. I mean, a lot of people, if you believe it enough, then you're going to toe the line.
But
So
heaven is what you make of it. Heaven is what you want your heaven to be. That's what heaven is. It's not what people think it is. I'll tell you this much. Heaven is what you want your heaven to be. You will create your own heaven, what you want to be. And as in death, as where you want to be in your heaven. Heaven to be for you to be sitting under an apple tree, and or heaven could be where you want to go fishing, or heaven can be where you want to be in the garden, or heaven can be what you want it to be. Is your heaven, is what heaven is truly. It's not what people think it is. It's not this gate where you have angels up there telling you blah blah blah. No, it's not like that. I'm sorry, but I hate to
Interesting.
I hate to poke a bubble in you if you think, if you're Christian, if you think that what heaven is this heavenly gates and people and angels with these harps in their arms and they're playing. No, okay, I'm sorry. No, it's not. That's where people and I get really pissed with each other and they don't like me. And I said, I'd lost a lot of friends because I don't care, like, whatever.
Yeah, that's Jeff, I got 3 more questions for you, and I'm gonna get you out of here, brother. Uh, uh, one of the questions is we're gonna talk about your state. How often does Historia and local folklore play a role in your state? Because I know people say that your state is probably one of the top 3, top 4 most haunted locations, most haunted states. Do you think folklore had to play in that role?
Yeah, I think it plays a big part of it because I think not only in Massachusetts are we, probably one of the most haunted states around as far as paranormal goes, but we have other cryptid. There's Bigfoot sightings in Massachusetts. Believe it or not, most people when they think of Bigfoot, they think of like Washington and Northwest, but there's a lot of Bigfoot sightings in Massachusetts. There's a creature called the Pukwudgie. That's also a lore.
Cool.
Out of Massachusetts, it's a little demon type creature thing that sort of likes to cause trouble. You ever hear of the Bridgewater Triangle? All sorts of anomalies happen down there.
Yeah, I've heard of the Bridgewater. Yeah, I've heard of that one.
So Massachusetts has it all. If you love to investigate the weird, this is the place to be for sure. So definitely a lot of folklore as well, for sure.
So
Do
would you
they
say
have
a
a
lot
color
of
to them?
people?
Are they black and white creatures, or do they have color to them? Or
It almost looks like I've only seen illustrations of it, so I've never seen one in real life, but I think just from the illustrations, it almost looks like a ugly looking sort of troll type creature, a short type ugly troll.
that's cool. Terry, we gotta go there.
Well, if I'm gonna go during Christmas. Maybe I can get a Christmas gift from Jeff.
There you go. I'll get you a big woman to stay warm with. How about that?
Oh, that'd be
There
nice.
ain't any
That'd
up there, dude. Hey, if there any BBWs up there, hell, they probably already took him because it's so damn cold up there.
You could snuggle
All right.
with one.
Hey, this one is. I wish people would use this in their podcast more often. This question here, because I think we'll get a lot of different answers. So, Jeff, I'm going to ask you, and just be honest. Be honest with me. And tell me what you think. What is the one thing you wish that the public would understand about paranormal research?
I think when you boil it down to its purest form, I think we're just like everybody else. We're just looking for answers. Everybody wants to know what happens when you die.
Mhm.
So if your intentions are pure as the paranormal investigator, that's really what it's all about, is finding answers. And sometimes it's trying to bring peace to other people's lives. If you're doing an investigation with, I personally don't do the private stuff, but for people that do that, a lot of it's really just about helping people, with dealing with.
Interesting. In your own numbers, can you give me the numbers that you think that people possibly believe there's life after death and people don't believe there's life after death? You think it's 70 30, 30, 30 80, or 30 60? What numbers do you think that possibly is?
I'll say all belief included. I'll say 80% believe and 20% don't, because there's definitely a lot of atheists and science-backed people out there. But I think if you include all the religions of the world and all the people that believe in ghosts, I'll say 80% believe.
Okay, interesting. That's a big number. Considering that half the people in the Bible Belt don't believe there's life after death.
Oh, but maybe it's a 70-30. I just thought like religious people believed in God, which in turn believes in heaven and hell. But I don't. But the thing with like believing in, I don't think you have to be religious to believe in the afterlife, though, because I'm not a deeply religious person. I don't, as far as like God and religion, but like I believe there's something after you die. So I think
but wouldn't you think that would be basic common sense?
Right. I agree.
I can't help but think that would be basic common sense. If you can't help but think that there is a slim possibility that life goes on.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
It's just not in our form that we don't need our body to show that life goes on after when we pass, because we do exist afterwards, just in a different form, in a different way.
I think in general terms, just some form of life after death. It doesn't have to be heaven or hell. It doesn't have to be this or that. Just something after death. Yes. Yeah, I believe.
You know what, Jeff? I'm going to feed off of Sybil here for a minute. You mentioned that word faith. Faith is a religion belief. In this day and age, the way people have dissected the Bible, would you say that belief and faith is under fire right now because of what's going on in the scientific world? I mean, you got people like Bill Carson who just throwing the fucking Bible, in the trash, because that's what he thinks the Bible is, trash. The Bible was never, ever written by God. It was written by man for controlling of man. So is it possible that men has never had faith? I mean, in anything? Or how can you have faith in a Bible that was never written by the God that you supposedly have worshipped?
I feel like a lot of religion, you're just brought up in it. You're raised in it. So you don't ever stop to ask questions or think, hey, maybe this doesn't make sense or that doesn't make sense. But when you're brought up in a household from childhood, you start believing without questioning, which I guess is what would be considered faith, right? You're sort of belief without proof, right? I think that's where a lot of people comes from. There's definitely more. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I mean, that is so wrong on so many different levels.
Yeah, I mean, and then there's people that seem to find religion later in life. I know a lot of people, like, when they get in a hard spot in life, they get religious. Like I know people like.
I mean, who are you going to worship? The Easter Bunny?
I feel like there's definitely less there seems to be less religious people now than before, because it seemed like at one point in time there was like a church on every corner. Like I think even like around here now there's churches. Like I live in Fitchburg, Massachusetts. There's churches everywhere, but they're all empty because nobody visits them anymore. Nobody goes to church anymore. So I think I feel like, I don't know, religion is sort of a double-edged sword. I think religion is one of the things that has done so many amazing things for people, whether it's real or not, and it's also done so many horrible things for people. Because if you think about it, like going back as far as the Crusades and even further, how many people have died in the name of God, right? But at the same time, how many people have done amazing and wonderful things because in their belief in God? So like, again, for me, it's almost not even about whether it's real or not. If you lived a life as, let's just say, a Christian or like a Muslim, as long as you're not harming other people, if that's what's keeping you there, then I don't have a problem with it. I personally am not a religious person. I don't believe in God, but at the same time, I don't have a problem with other people worshiping their God as long as it's doing good and not harm, because it can go either way.
It's funny, the way you say that, because when we say a prayer, they should know that you're putting your intentions in it, and putting your intentions in it is also saying a spell too. So, I don't know. Tell me if I'm right or wrong. Like, when you say a prayer, you want it to work, and you want it to mean it to work. So it is also saying, not telling it, but it's also creating a spell so that so it would work, so your prayer would be answered. So it is putting your intentions in. It is saying a spell. I don't care if you believe me or not. I don't care if you're religious or not, but it is doing the same thing. And people don't realize when they say a prayer, they want it to work. So it is putting a spell out there. It is putting your intentions in it. Everything is putting your intentions in it, when you do it or not, it unconditionally or not. It is putting your intentions out there. It is hoping that it will work. So I don't know.
I think religion is the greatest and the most awful thing that's happened to mankind, because so many great things have happened from it, and so many horrible things have happened from it. And it's really what direction you choose to go with it.
I agree with you on that one. So many atrocities has happened because of religion. And it's going on today. Look what's going on between Palestine and Israel.
They're fighting in the name of God. Their God, whoever they believe is God. But
when you start killing in the name of your God, regardless of who your God is, that's where you lose me. That's where I don't understand. Where it's something I cannot comprehend, because God is supposed to be peaceful and loving and understanding. As far as I'm not a religious person, but my interpretation of God, whatever your God is, peaceful, loving, and and understanding. Not kill this.
God. I agree with you, but if a God is a true God and is a loving God, why did this person allow so many atrocities in the past that he can easily just snap his fingers? Is like, nope, that ain't happening. But he allowed millions of people, from Native Americans to slavery to what's going on in Palestine and Israel now, and so many others. And you know what? And I'm not even speaking about the wars that happened before this planet is known for what it is now. Because we know there was wars in the past that the history books don't even know anything about.
Nope.
Yeah, it's
you know what I'm saying? So
I think it's unfortunately one of those topics that we'll probably never be able to completely see eye to eye on. There's always going to be ignorant people on this earth, and unfortunately, I think it's in our DNA. It's in humans. War. We're using religion as an excuse over here, but then we're using another excuse over here for war, murder, kill, whether it's for money or for religion. Murder and death and war is in the human DNA, and I don't know if it's ever going to go away, unfortunately.
No.
And it's also population control. You got to control the population.
So
one thing I do know, that babies aren't being born at the rate that they were in the 40s and the 50s and the 60s.
No.
Or the 70s, because I was born in the 70s. And babies today, those numbers had considerably dropped.
Mm-hmm.
Why? I don't know. But I do know that there are less humans now on this planet than there were 60 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Weird.
Yeah.
Jeff, two more questions, man, and we're out. What is the biggest challenge for paranormal investigators are facing now and in the future?
Mm-hmm.
I think what we're facing now is credibility because I'm not going to name specific shows, but there's certain shows on YouTube, there's certain shows on TV that are so big and popular, but they don't exactly narrate. They don't really portray paranormal investigation in its authentic form. It's a little bit exaggerated, dramatized, and people assume that's what it is. That's what it's about. So I think that's the hurdle we're facing is trying to, I'm almost afraid to take people on a paranormal investigation because there's so many people that come up to me and say, hey, I want to go on a paranormal investigation with you. And I try to explain to them, we can do this sometime, but just understand that we might spend 8 hours investigating and literally have nothing happen. It might, or you could have the most crazy experience of your life or somewhere in the middle. But I always feel like I have to sort of tamp them down a little bit, come down to earth a little bit. Like you're not going to be seeing demons in flying chairs, so like that's sort of the hurdle but at the same time, those are the same shows that are making paranormal more accepting in the general society. So there's a blessing and the curse for some of these shows.
It's you know what? It's almost funny because when you bring somebody in who really has no experience, they could be running out that front door as soon as something happens, right?
Yeah, it's very possible. But
it's very possible. Irene, I'm gonna let you have the last question.
Okay. You got the whole world, okay? And you got paranormal everywhere in every aspect of the whole world. What would be your whole world bucket list that you want to visit?
Oh, probably Poveglia Island in Italy. I think it's illegal to go there now, but ever since I've seen that on TV many years ago, if I had to pick one bucket list spot, it would be Poveglia Island in Italy for sure.
That'd be cool to visit too.
It's horribly creepy from what I understand.
Well, there's another island. There's another island that's off limits, and it's off the coast of California. It's called Catalina.
Oh, I've heard about that. A lot of UFO sightings off Catalina.
Yeah, a lot of UFO sightings. It's a reason why an island that huge is off limits. Something's going on.
They also say there's an underwater alien base in between Catalina Island and the mainland California too.
I wonder why. Like, what happened? What's out there that we don't know? Why aren't they telling us what we don't know? Why aren't they keeping it under lock and key? That's a big question. WHY, right? And a big, huge question mark.
That's a good question. I just want to say one more thing before we jump off in regards to like the biggest hurdle that paranormal investigators are facing, like the question you asked. I want to say this is part of the reason why I do Ghost Quest Solo the way I do it. I do it 100% authentic. What you see is what you get. And that can be challenging as a paranormal investigator because when I'm editing my episodes and sometimes stuff's not happening, but it's like, hey, this is what happened. And this is what I have to present to the audience is how I experienced what I've experienced. And, I think that's why it's so important for me to keep everything 100% real and authentic and genuine as possible. And that's why I'm so proud of my project Ghost Quest Solo. As much as I enjoy watching some of the other stuff, it's not really an exact, an accurate interpretation of most paranormal investigations as I have experienced them. Like, if you compare my Ghost Quest Solo to some of the stuff on YouTube, it might be what you consider maybe a little bit on the boring side. But if you like real, authentic paranormal investigations, Ghost Quest Solo, another great one, Grey Duck Paranormal, plug for Grey Duck. Check them out on YouTube. Those guys are also like they make their investigations authentic, but it's still entertaining to watch. And that's kind of where I'm trying to like put my foothold. I want to be entertaining, but only entertaining, not at the cost of fabricating anything.
Exactly.
That's why
with you 100%.
That's why when I'm investigating, I stream live. I don't. I let it. I just leave it unfiltered, uncut, unedited, and then I just let the world decide.
Yep.
Absolutely.
I always tell them, if
I
you
like what you
leave,
said.
yeah, if you see something in the video, timestamp it and put it in the comments. I'll look at it.
I like what you said there. Let the audience decide, because I feel the
Yeah.
same. Like when I do my episodes on YouTube, I don't try to like steer people in the direction of, hey, look, it's a ghost. It's like, no, this is what happened.
No.
You decide what happened.
Yeah.
I'm going to
Yeah.
show you what happened, and you decide on what you think it is.
That's
Yep,
what I
I
like to
agree.
do too. On my still photos that I have that's paranormal, I don't tell them what it is. I don't tell them where it is. I said, okay, you figure it out. You tell me what you see, and I'll tell you what it is. But I want you to look at it first, and that's the way I like. I like doing it that way because there's a lot of things. There's a lot of still photos that I have in my photo gallery and on my groups that I don't tell them anything. I want you to find out. I want you to use your intuitions and what you feel and what you see, as to compare to me telling you what there is.
Exactly. I agree 100%.
Exactly. Well, Jeff, man, it has been a pleasure speaking with you. We're going on an hour and 40 minutes. Man, hey, thank you for coming on the show. I really appreciate it. Tell the world how to get a hold of you if they ever up in Massachusetts and they want to just come hang out with you.
Yeah, if you're a paranormal investigator from another part of the country and you come to Massachusetts, just hit my Ghost Quest solo up on Facebook, DM me, and like maybe we can figure something out, or vice versa. Like we can make, do some networking wherever you're from, and then vice versa, we can return the favor. That's always a good stuff.
Yeah, because you know what? There's paranormal everywhere, and old countries too, new countries too, not that old countries, and there's always something out there that goes bump in the night.
Exactly.
Always. See, and that what scares people the most, guys. Things
Yeah.
that what go bump in the night. And
That's
among
why
other things.
That's why
People are
Terry, don't worry. If I ask to project to your house or to Jeff's house, it's just me. Don't worry about it.
Hey.
that was fireworks. It scared the shit out of me. I thought somebody was knocking on my door. It's somebody lighting fireworks off. But anyway,
Man, you guys got fireworks already?
yeah,
Damn.
somebody must have had a couple beers.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, it was
Jeff, man, yes,
Let's
it has
involve
been a pleasure speaking with you. I appreciate you. I appreciate you coming on the show. Your supporters following you. That is always a great thing. Hey, all you guys that commented that I couldn't see, when I go back and read your comments, hey, I will do that. Hopefully, Instagram would allow you guys one day to. I'm able to see your comments one day. But hey, in the meantime, guys, I thank for all the support.
Thank you, Jeff, for coming on.
Yep.
I enjoyed it. It was fun.
It's fun. We got a busy schedule next week with another 3 podcasters. 3 guests that are coming on. It's just summertime gets really busy for us. And man, I just wish Jeff, I wish you all the luck. The support. If you ever need anything, feel free to reach out. Hey, we're here for you guys. Man, let's show this man. Hey, if you guys ever get a chance, go to this channel, man. Hit that button. You guys know what to do. I'm not even gonna say it. But in the meantime, Jeff, thank you.
Thank you very much for coming on.
Thank you.
I am making some reels here shortly. Feel free to take these reels of the show. The reels only consist of some of the best questions about the show. Feel free to do whatever you want to do. Put them on TikTok, your Facebook page, whatever you see fit. I'm going to put those reels out here, and I hope you enjoy it. Irene, hang around for a moment. Hey, guys, this is Terry with NSPS TV Paranormal Podcast. Tonight, you're in the Lions Den with Ghost Quest solo from Massachusetts. Hey, man, you guys enjoy your weekend. All you fathers out there, happy Father's Day.
Love and light to everybody.
Bye, guys.
Bye bye.
Already watching. Boom, boom, boom. They see me, yeah, through every wall, every move, every call. They see me, I can't hide it all. 2026, hear them call. They see me, yeah, I feel their gaze every night, every day. From the dark through the haze, now I'm trapped in their maze. Boom, boom, boom. Late night shadows on the glass, feel them watching when I pass. Every second never lasts, now I'm living in the past. Cold eyes hidden in the light, every corner got a sight. All this fear in the night, now I keep it locked tight. No trust in the ones I meet, every smile incomplete. All these whispers in the street, now I'm running from defeat. I don't speak, I just look behind. Every second losing mind, from the dark undefined. Now I'm stuck in the blind. They see me